What a crowd. Thank you for joining us for this celebration. What a fantastic evening. It's like half the island here. Thank you. I have just a couple of things to do. Tom Fiskus, our library board president over here with a suit with a tie on, is going to give you a little bit of background on this project and where we're headed with it. And it's a big story. It's a long story, but we're going to make it fairly short. It's been a long road, as many of you that live here know. A long, long road for even before I was even living here. And so Tom's going to tell you a little more about that. But first of all, some very important stuff. We are trying to get some more food, what I understand. We have a mission south of here to find food. We'll see if they actually find it. I haven't had any yet, so I can commiserate with you and those of you in line. It's like a 3-mile long line here. For now, also, I want to mention we have 2 restrooms in the old lobby, 2 restrooms in the new lobby, and those are both all full. We have 2 porta potties in the very northeast corner of the property next to Rose Street. And the contractors can vouch for the quality of those porta potties. And thanks for HB Hansen for leaving those for us for a few more days. And one more thing I want to mention. After this celebration tonight, if you have any more energy left, we're co-sponsoring a program at Random House. James Allen, who's an Elizabethan reenactor, is going to be doing a program down there at 8 o'clock. And it's free we're co-sponsoring. It's free by donation, of course. And they'll have food there, of course. But it's right down the street, Random House. So if you don't know where that is, ask somebody around you. It's right down on A Street near the post office. And that's all I want to say for now. We have so much to cover. It's already 6:15. We're 17 minutes behind schedule. So Tom is going to speed up his talk by about 30%. No, just kidding. I think everybody might stick around for you. Tom Fiskus, our current board president.
Thank you, Phil. There's good news and bad news. The bad news is we're out of food. The good news is the whole town is here. Most of what I'm going to say is really about recognizing the amazing efforts of so many people who have made the creation of this library expansion possible. But before I exercise that privilege, I want to recognize today's event sponsors who made the great food and beverages we have had possible. Those sponsors are Island Market, the Lower Tavern, Island Hoppin' Brewery, and Orcas Island Freight Line. So thank you very much. And Cisco Foods. It's appropriate to note that no matter how big and beautiful a library edifice is, and no matter the size and grandeur of its collection of books and materials, it's just a building without the people who make it breathe. Our library would just be a warehouse for books without its wonderful staff. Our staff exudes the friendliness, competence, and dedication to community service that day in and day out give this library its heart. And to that end, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our own library version of Rock Stars. And I'd ask that you hold your applause until all the staff has been introduced. That big-hearted spirit that I mentioned starts at the top. Phil Heikkinen. I first met Phil in 2006 on a visit to Orcas, and I still remember the sense that Phil conveyed to me that even though I was a stranger, he cared and was interested in what I needed. He lives that every day, and it suffuses the staff and the volunteers who work here. So I would like to introduce as many of the staff as we have available here. Let's see who we've got. And I think Kathy Lundy, who is the Adult Services Coordinator, who's in charge of mapping the library's collection. I think she's away today. Martin Arnold, the librarian responsible for interlibrary loans, the website, and electronic media. Holly King, our young adult services librarian. Nita Couchman, our children's librarian. Mary Pugh, who oversees administrative services. Tony Gazelle is responsible for technology and the network administrator. I don't think Tony is here today. Katie Wilkins, our library assistant and the Seed Library curator. Jenny DeGroot, the customer services assistant. And keeping it all looking sharp is Mike Larkins, who provides custodial services. Let's show our appreciation to them. The staff is backed up and supplemented by a fantastic core of some 50 volunteers whose combined contributions are not only important to the staff, but are important financially to us because their volunteer time equals several paid positions. Would all the volunteers present please raise your hands so that we can recognize your contributions to the library? The current Board of Trustees, which I am privileged to chair this year, is part of a long line of trustees, most of whom have shared the dream that the building behind me represents. I'd like to introduce what I am going to call the extended Board of Trustees, who have worked so diligently to make this day a reality. Our current board includes me and Vice President Regina Zwilling. Where's Regina? Alex Conrad, Ben Luna, and Martha Fuller, who is away today. Now, it would be unfair to say that we are but 5, because 3 of the last 4 trustees to have completed their terms on the board have continued to work on this project beyond their tenures. It starts with former trustee chairman Alan Lichter, who passed away in 2013. Alan strongly shared our collective vision of an expanded library, and Alan's wife, Kate, I believe, is here today. Kate, are you here? There's Kate. Thank you for coming, Kate, and sharing the celebration. Next is Rachel Newcomb, who became chair when Alan passed away. Though she can't be here today as chair, Rachel led us with grace and skill and the courage to make the decision in 2014 to go all in on expanding the library. She was followed by Donna Reardon, whose laser focus on getting it right and assembling public support for the project was crucial, both political support and financial support. And Donna has remained a full partner as a member of the naming committee and consultant to the board. Next, my immediate predecessor, Margaret Payne, whose passion for the library, attention to detail, eye for design, and bold spirit led us to let the contract for the construction last year, and who now, through the landscape committee, is helping make sure the new facility is surrounded by just as much beauty as is inside. I'd like to invite Donna and Margaret to come up and make a few remarks.
Well, I don't have anything prepared, so this will be short. Thank you, community, for your love for this library, for passing a levy last November that you'll never be sorry for, except maybe when you write the check a couple times a year. When you see your children and your children's children enjoying this facility, our little community of just over 5,000 people, what an awesome thing we have done. Thank you.
I'm not usually speechless, but this is just an amazing day. When I moved here with my family in 2010, I had no idea that this, first of all, that I'd be involved with the library, but secondly, that this would come to pass. And it's just been a great honor working with my colleagues on the board, getting to know the staff, the community, And I remember one particular meeting back in the fall of 2013. It was after Alan Lichter had passed, and we were trying to figure out, are we going to go ahead with this? And if we go ahead with this, what is it going to be? And there was uniformity and absolute consensus that we were going to throw long, that we weren't going to do something halfway, that we were going to throw long. But even then, I had no idea that it would end up being this. And I'm just so thrilled to be part of it. And this is a great community, and it's why we live here. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Donna and Margaret. Now, many of you know that the original design for the library called for a facility of around 12,000 square feet. But budgetary constraints meant that only 6,000 square feet could be built some 23 years ago. Over the years, there have been several attempts to expand the library, both in 2002 and 2008-09. Those boards worked very hard to realize the dream, but alas, circumstances did not allow it to happen until now. The dedication and effort of those previous boards was instrumental to the success we see today. I would ask all the previous library trustees present, and I know there are some here, to please raise your hand so that we might recognize your dedication and effort on behalf of the library. I want to recognize part of that history that I mentioned. We're honored today to have with us the Orcas Library's last volunteer librarian, Margaret Philbrick, who served the community for 4 years, from 1984 to 1988, as the volunteer librarian. No doubt you made a major contribution, Margaret, to the notion that our island's library should have a permanent home. We're pleased to announce today that through the generous donations of family and friends, we are today dedicating the Margaret Philbrick Quiet Reading Room in the library. We're also pleased to have with us the first full-time librarian of the Orcas Public Library, Victoria Parker. Victoria, thank you for serving our community for many years and laying the groundwork for so much that has come after. When we first decided to go all in to expand the library, we had the daunting tasks of deciding what was needed and then how to pay for it. Many of you participated in our surveys and focus groups to arrive at a consensus as to what we needed. As you know, we made the commitment to do as much of the funding from private and non-local sources as possible. That seemed to be a Herculean task, given that we set an initial budget of $3.5 million. From the moment we had committed ourselves to raising the money, we had a wonderful partner and supporter in the Friends of the Orcas Island Library organization. Without hesitation, the Friends immediately pledged $100,000 of money that they had assembled through years of books and merchandise sales, money hard earned. It wasn't just the money. It was the Friends' enthusiasm. You helped give us the sense that it could be done. I'd like to ask Tim Lundy, the current Friends president, to come up for a few remarks. Tim?
Friends of the library, look at you all. Look at you all. You're all friends of the library. Turns out that there's a nonprofit organization that is called the Friends of the Library, but that's only because we need a nonprofit organization. The fact is, we're all friends of the library. Thank you very much. I'm really proud and honored to be part of this expansion because the official Friends of the Library organization kicked it off with a $100,000 grant to make this thing happen. And we did. But who did? We did. We did. There's always going to be Friends of the Library going forward, but we need more friends to participate in the nonprofit organization that is the Friends of the Library that keeps building the coffers to do great things. And come on, apply. We need board members. Guess what we've got? We got a store. We've got a real store. It's a gift store, I guess. It's a bookstore. It's a friends store. We'll need help staffing that. So thank you, friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Among the various grant applications and donor contacts that we made, we had enlisted the help of Senator Kevin Ranker. Through Kevin's efforts, the state authorized $1.4 million for our project in the 2015-17 biennium. Kevin couldn't be with us today, but he's been our state-level champion, and we're very grateful. We had another champion, a local champion, because we received a $60,000 grant from the county for the stairs that you see right over here down to Library Park. We were able to put in a beautiful set of stairs that maybe people won't fall down. And to that end, I'd like to invite our local councilman, Rick Hughes, to come on up and say a few words. Rick.
Thank you. Congratulations. I promise I'll make this really, really quick. I'm also here, my other two council members, Bob Jarman at that point, Bill Watson, and then Jamie Stevens. I'd also like to point out that Christine Litton and Jeff Morris also fought really hard for this. Kevin brought it forward, but they all have to agree to help push this process forward. I just want to thank all of you who spent the time and effort to pull this project together. This library will be the cornerstone of Orcas and East Sound, and I think we need to continue to look at infrastructure, may it be the school or some of our road improvements, to really bring us so we're set for the next 20 years. So it's been an honor to be part of this, and what you're not mentioning is that was lodging tax money, so that's also tourists who come to our community who pay an extra tax, which helps build infrastructure in our community. So again, thank you for letting me be part of this process and for the great, great building you've built.
Thank you, Rick. With none of us trustees having specific experience or expertise in constructing a large public work project, we knew we needed help. And in our project manager, Liz Leroy, we found it in spades. Liz guided us through the process of hiring the architects and the contracting and the construction phases of the project. She's smart and savvy and tough, but a warm and charming person, and I'd like to invite her to come up and say a few words. Liz. She's probably busy managing the project. We'll circle back to her if we get a chance. I'd like to invite our architect representative, Julie Blazek from HKP Architects. Some of you may know, and I think it was reported that HKP, we were all very happy when HKP actually won the contract because HKP was the designer of the original library. And so to have them circle back and sort of bring the project to fruition was really a great thing for us. So I'd like to invite Julie to come on up. Julie?
Thank you very much. We're just delighted to be part of this project. As a firm, while everybody else in our industry has been trying to specialize in one project type or market, we've resisted that. Instead, we try to specialize in 3 categories of project types: those that created opportunities for learning and literacy, those that promote social services and cultural connections, and those that make a sustainable contribution to the environment. Those that positively affect the head, the heart, and the earth. Thank you. This is one of those projects, and it really hits on all 3 levels. It's obviously a place for learning and literacy, but this library also serves as a resource for some of the island's social services providers and is one of the cultural connectors for residents and visitors alike. And it's designed and constructed using environmentally conscious materials and systems with a focus on indoor-outdoor connections to showcase the beauty of this magnificent place. Many of you have heard our firm's past history with the design of the original library, which was completed by Henry Klein and Al Terry of the Henry Klein Partnership in 1992. 25 years later, HKP Architects, or Henry Klein Partnership, is delighted to have been chosen to expand the library and take on the difficult task of adding on to a beloved architectural jewel of a building and a community hub. The community involvement in this project was really special. The passion for this library, for the building itself, and for this community was ever present. There was more than ample healthy dialogue about shelf space for books, parking, roof shapes, mezzanines, daylighting, landscaping, including the grassy knoll, and more parking. We hope that all of you feel you've played a part in this new chapter for the library and that your thoughts and ideas are reflected in the final product. And we hope it continues to serve the community as well or better than the original library has done for so many years. A special thanks from us to Phil and Mary, Nita, Holly, Martin, Tony, Katie, all the wonderful staff, the friends of the library, and all the numerous library volunteers for making this process so enjoyable. Thanks to Margaret Payne, David Cow, Ben Luna, who are the design committee members, for their wonderful collaboration and feedback. Thanks to Liz Leroy for her tireless efforts coordinating all of the team members, overseeing the budget and schedule, working with local officials to resolve issues, and keeping focus on the ultimate goal of quality, durability, and pride of ownership. She's gone over and above her duties to bring this project home in a tough bidding climate and construction times, and is so skilled at helping the entire team succeed. Yeah, she deserves that. Thanks to Eric, Bernie, Phil, Wade, and the entire HB Hansen crew. It truly felt like a partnership on this project, and the quality of the work speaks for itself. These guys take pride in what they build. They understand how important these projects are to community, and they deliver. They're honest, trustworthy, and genuine, a rare find and a valued one. And finally, recognition for some of our staff, Christine Baldwin, who's here from HKP, and Russ Weiser, who's couldn't be with us today, who both worked tirelessly on this project. Their hard work and dedication turned the concepts and ideas into reality, especially Christine, who did most of the heavy lifting on this project. It was a fun, collaborative team. I'm really proud of both of them. I'm proud of the work they do for us, and I'm really proud of the quality people that they both are. I'd like to briefly recognize some of the other consultants on the project. Peg Staley and Justin Martin. I think Justin might be here from MIG SVR. They're our civil and landscape. Marjorie Lund, Owen Bauer, and Bernd Johnson from Lund Opsol were structural. Bill Deefus from K Engineers is electrical consultant. Randy Hinton and Curtis Thompson from the Harris Group was mechanical. Julie Webesch, Adam Jenkins, and Peter Babler from the Greenbush Group, who did acoustical and AV, and Gordon Adams with Adams Consulting, who did hardware coordination. I just want to note we are still working on completing some items and tweaking some things, so just bear with us for a while. We've got a little bit of work to do while things settle in and people get accustomed to it. But I wanted to thank you again for trusting us with this incredible opportunity to serve the Orcas Island community. We look forward to others. Thank you very much.
Next, I'd like to ask a representative from HP Hansen Company. Is Bernie here? Or Eric? All right, come on up.
Well, thanks everyone. Thanks Julie for the kind words. We really appreciate it. The first thing I've got to say is what a wonderful experience this has been for the last year. It is not that often that we get to work on a project where so many people in the community have got such a huge part in what comes to be. This is truly a community building. This isn't a parking garage or a parking lot. This is a community center, and it's been really a special experience. So I'd like to say thank you to everyone here. We've had between 10 to 30 people on this project for the last year every day. And one thing we think about when we work out of town is how the community is going to receive us, how our guys are going to act in the community. And we've had nothing but awesome, fantastic experiences with everyone here. Everyone's treated us well, and we really, really appreciate it. It makes everything go much smoother. The last thing I'd like to do is say thanks to our team. Our guys have been getting up at 3 in the morning every Monday for the last year and driving out here, and they work away from home, from the families, and it's definitely a hardship, and we really appreciate what they do for us. We definitely could not do that without our team. So I know some of our guys are here, so if anyone from the HB Hansen team could raise their hand, let us know where you're at. And yeah, so thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Throughout our project, we continue to fundraise through naming opportunities and direct appeal, as well as grant proposals, and there were hundreds of design decisions to be made. These things were all accomplished with our basic team of Phil and the staff, Liz Leroy and the architects, trustee members, and some very special volunteers without whom it could not have happened. On the fundraising team, we were blessed to have Joe Cohen. Thank you, Joe. On the design team, architect David Cal devoted hundreds of volunteer hours. Thank you, David, for helping us refine our designs, helping us understand the interplay of texture, color, and light with wood, steel, and glass. I mean, it was really a great opportunity for us to learn. Our naming opportunity processes were shepherded by Harvey Himmelfarb. Thank you, Harvey. You bring a lot of grace and a lot of wisdom to any process. Thanks to you all. During the entire course of this odyssey, we did our best to keep the public informed of our processes and our decisions, including the options that we considered along the way. I want to thank both the Island's Sounder, Colleen Armstrong, and Orcas Issues, Margie Doyle, for their interest in our process and their progress, and for reporting these matters to the public in a very generous way. So today, inside and out of our beautiful new facility, we're recognizing some very special contributions to the process. These special contributions will be recognized in perpetuity with recognition plaques inside and outside the building. I've already mentioned the Margaret Philbrick Quiet Reading Room, but to that, I want to add the Masterman Children's Library. And I understand that Andrew and Cheryl are here. Are you here, Andrew? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The Sarah T. and David C. Moore Stairway Garden over here. This beautiful south patio that we're on in honor of the Salish Sea, sponsored by Janet Alderton. Thank you, Janet. And the Tim and Martha Gallo Fuller Meeting Room inside. There are several other namings in process, either that are in process or have been completed.
Sorry, Tom. Joe Massey is here, so you can.
I talked to him.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Some of the folks who are present today, but the entire family can't be here, so we're going to have a separate dedication for those, some of those later. And we wanted to respect that. Before getting to the final dedication to be made, we have one very special dedication, and I ask Jim Connell and Susan Hull to come forward to announce a special naming.
Hi, everybody. It was my privilege to serve as a library trustee in the very end of the 90s and into the beginning years of this century. And it's amazing to be here to be a part of this celebration. So late last fall, my husband, Jim, came home all on fire with an idea. And he explained it to me, and I, too, thought it was an absolutely spectacular idea. So we went to work. We contacted a lot of people, and the community, as it always does, stepped up in extraordinary ways. We also appreciate the guidance of Harvey Himmelfall in doing this, and I'm going to let Jim tell you the rest.
I write better than I talk, so I'm going to read this. Martin Lund arrived on Orcas Island in 2002, a prominent studio musician, arranger, and composer from Los Angeles. He channeled his skills, his talent, and his creative genius into the service of our community. He's also a great educator. He possesses immense knowledge of his field, intense love of music and teaching, a belief that effort, not innate talent, is what counts in learning, and a vast repertoire of ways to reach all of his students. Martin draws us all, young and old, into the magical world of music that he inhabits. For those few here who don't know Martin, here are a few examples of this man's gifts to our community. At age 65, he revitalized our high school band and music instruction in our schools. Almost 15 years ago, he created the One World Festival that has raised tens of thousands of dollars to support young people in the community. He recently launched our Orcas Island Jazz Festival to bring talent, inspiration, and joy to all of us and draw visitors to our island. He continues to teach old and young the pleasures and value of musical expression. He enriches his friends' life events, both joyous and somber, with his music and his presence. He creates his own music as testimony to our island's beauty and its way of life, and he spreads kindness and generosity in everything that he does. This man is a treasure, and now his friends, students, and admirers want to show our community's gratitude by dedicating our new beautiful library's music collection to Martin Lund.
Books are your friends, and I love books.
Yeah, I'm given to understand that Martin walked into the new library and looked around and said, "More books." Finally, there, of course, is the matter of the naming of the new facility. I would like to read for you the resolution passed by the Board of Trustees in this regard. Orcas Island Library District Resolution Number 1-2017. Whereas the Board wishes to acknowledge the Henningsen family's indelible relationship with the library over many years, including Bob's service as a library trustee from 1997 to 2004, establishment and support of several endowment funds held by the Orcas Island Community Foundation for the benefit of the library, Bob and Phyllis's donation of Library Park to San Juan County in 1997 as a quiet space for reading and reflection and as a community gateway to the library, and through its permanent monument displaying the Bill of Rights as a reminder of American citizens' constitutional rights. Numerous contributions to planning and financial support of repeated efforts toward a needed expansion of the library building. Passionate commitment to early childhood literacy, lifelong learning, and intellectual freedom through participation in and financial support of several community organizations. Donation of major funding by the Robert and Phyllis Henningsen Living Trust toward the library expansion project completed in June of 2017, strong participation and interest in the library's funding efforts by Jeff and Ted, provision of a parcel adjacent to the library for use during the construction project, resulting in major cost savings. Therefore, let it be hereby resolved that the newly expanded portion of the library will be named the Henningsen Family Wing. I'm going to turn it over to Phil to introduce Phyllis Henningsen.
Well, I think that resolution pretty much says it all. And however, I just from a personal perspective, I met Bob and Phyllis when I first came up here to interview in July of 2004. And I've been feeling like they've been family with the library and with me ever since. So it's just an incredible honor for me to be able to present this resolution to the Henningsen family. Thank you so much, Phyllis, Ted, and Jeff, and Bob. And Phyllis, are you here? Can you come on up, Phyllis? And here's Ted. Are you going to come up too? And there's Jeff over here. So here's the resolution. Thank you. Here's Tom. Just speak right into there.
This is not my cup of tea. Anyway, thank you very much, Phil, and a warm hello to all of you. It's been just over 20 years since my husband Bob and I came to Orcas. It was one of the best decisions we ever made. So much of what Bob believed in, lifelong learning, the fundamental importance of children's education, the value of community, is represented in the concept of a library. He was so happy to find this one on Orcas and quickly made a habit of visiting it. It served him not just in its literary offerings, but also its space. A quiet place to stimulate one's mind, a convenient location for meetings. I think his only regret about our choice to live in Deer Harbor was the fact that this lovely library happened to be all the way in town. Bob loved this library. He also quickly saw its value to our community. Families stopping by to pick up books, children of all ages lost in their imagination, community groups conducting their meetings. Bob elected to deepen his own engagement. He joined the board. He shared with me his vision for Library Park, which became a reality. When the case was made for the library's expansion, and any of you who knew Bob are aware that a very good case it had to be made, he put his energy behind it. I often find myself thinking about how Bob might perceive a certain situation or event were he still here. Of course, I wish very much that he were. I know he'd be quite disturbed about the current state of American politics, particularly the contentious nature of relationships, the absence of cooperation, and the failure of vision, of seeing the greater good and working together to reach it. But I also know that he would be thrilled by this beautifully expanded library. He'd be proud not only of those of you who so generously donated your time, energy, and money toward this project, but to all islanders, the entire Orcas community. You saw the value in the library's expansion. You voted to support it. You helped create a public good that serves all of us equally. That empowers our children and grandchildren to learn and grow. That gives us a place to convene and discuss and interact. We are all happy to see this project come to fruition under the tireless effort and leadership of Phil Heikkinen and the board, and through the generous contributions of our community. Thank you all for coming here today to celebrate together the dedication of our expanded library.
Thank you, Phyllis. There have been many thank yous given out today, but there could be so many more because this has truly been a community-wide effort. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it sure as heck takes a village to build an expanded library, I can tell you that. We will recognize the many other contributions that have been made to this project through a plaque that will enshrine the names of our contributors for posterity. Thank you. I know this has been a long presentation, but I appreciate so much all of you attending today to the ceremony and for your attention. And we're going to have Phil conduct the ribbon removal for the new library. So Phil, over to you.
Thank you. Well, we don't have a pair of scissors up here, and we're in the interest of safety. But we have a very strong ribbon here, and we have two strong people holding it up. So what I need is several kids to come up here and help pull this ribbon down, and then we can open the library for reals. I mean, you've been in here maybe, but now it's really open once you pull this ribbon down. Here's one, come on, we need more. Grab a hold of that. Ready? More, you want to come up and help? Come on, help. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I think they already did it. Yay! Thank you, everybody, for coming to this event. I think we should have more of these. I'm not sure how we'll survive them. We'll maybe once. Let's see. What's the date today? 23rd of June. Every June 23rd, maybe come by and celebrate the annual completion of the building. We'll find out more about that from us later. Thank you. And if there's any more food back there, please help us eat it up. And the Island Hoppin' Beer, and then tour the library. We'll be here till 8 o'clock tonight, so if you want a tour, this is the time. In fact, you can even check out books till 8 o'clock tonight.